Welcome to JetKoa Sports. Match day one of the 2026 World Cup has officially ended, and it was a masterful first day for defending champion Argentina. This is the biggest football tournament in the world, and we will cover it as such. I have started dropping daily coverage in the form of shorts, and will work to highlight all of the World Cup action each day. So today, we will discuss world football before diving into Major League Baseball. My name is David, and this is JetKoa Sports. The World Cup. We finished match day one on Wednesday, June 17th, so all teams have played their opening match at the World Cup. And this is where we stand. In Group A, Mexico and South Korea each notched a win and sit atop the table. Mexico scored 2 goals to Korea's 1, so they sit in first place, while Korea is right behind them in second. And I do believe Mexico is the better team, but South Korea is always tough, and they impress me with their stamina and aggression in their first match. Mexico and South Korea are playing right now as I record, so we're going to find out who's better tonight. Czechia and South Africa both lost their opening games, and then they tied each other today. So Czechia sits in third based on goal differential, leaving South Africa in fourth. Moving to Group B, Switzerland sits at number 2, but it has not been pretty. All 4 teams tied their opening match, so things were pretty even heading into today's action. Switzerland played Game 2 today against Bosnia-Herzegovina, and Bosnia was playing a great game. The Swiss had chances and were pressuring the Bosnian defense, but Bosnia was coming right back at them, and they were putting their own pressure on the Swiss, and they were moving the ball well. It was a good game. However, the Swiss finally broke through in the 74th minute to take a 1-0 lead, and then terror struck. Bosnian player Tariq received a red card in the 80th minute, and outnumbered, Bosnia went on to give up 2 goals before adding their own in extra time, and then they gave up a penalty kick in the 97th minute to end up losing this game 4-1. Bosnia came out and they played 75, 80 strong minutes, but it was not enough for Bosnia, and it is not enough in the World Cup. They played well, but ultimately could not hang long enough. Then in the other game, Canada severely dominated Qatar 6-0. An absolute slaughter that places Canada above the Swiss in Group B now. I was not sure Canada would be able to get enough goals to cause any damage this year, maybe not even advance from group. And then they dropped 6 today. I liked Canada and Switzerland to advance, but I expected more ties and low-scoring games. I do need to remember that these teams are playing both Qatar and Bosnia in their group. And they don't have the same type of talent or the same populations of these other countries to really compete. Moving to Group C, I picked Morocco pre-tournament to win Group C, and they opened group play by tying Brazil, the supposed group favorite. Scotland does hold the top spot in the group after beating Haiti in their opening match, and they will play Morocco Friday. It's going to be a huge game. Brazil should handle Haiti easily this week and move to 4 points, so Morocco needs to beat Scotland to keep pace with the group leader. If Morocco beats Scotland, then we got 2 teams sitting at 4 points, Scotland at 3, and then we got ourselves a competitive group here. Scotland would be sitting pretty with a win over Morocco. That would put them at 6 points, well in the lead to win the group. And they would be in good shape with a tie against Morocco. They would sit at 4 points and again be tied with Brazil, assuming they beat Haiti. So, even with the tie against Morocco, Scotland is still in good shape. And if they lose to Morocco, they still will not be out of it because they won their first game. Winning game 1 in the World Cup puts a team in a good spot. because it is group play. You only play 3 games, and we're taking the top 2 teams from each group to the next round. So you win game 1, you're in good shape. Again, I picked Morocco to win the group, and I'm sticking with that. But Scotland does look strong, and they brought an entire army with them. Just ask the people up in Boston. And then Brazil is talented, and they could put up 3 goals easily against Haiti. So Morocco needs to start scoring. They are a defensive team, so this is going to test their capabilities. Like, they will have to turn into a scoring team possibly to advance from this group. Now, moving to Group D, the United States of America opened up their World Cup with a dominating victory against a good Paraguay team. The U.S. has the most talent they have ever had. They look strong, they look fast, and most importantly, they are playing like a team that can win games. Plenty of football teams play for a tie. When they look across the field at an uber-talented team, they just try to play for a tie. They sit back in defense and try to just run the clock. The USA used to play all World Cup games in that fashion. And it can help you advance from groups, but you cannot win a World Cup or any major tournament playing that style. Now the U.S. has confidence and skill to go at teams. They will be looking to score first. They'll be looking to put pressure on the other team, something the United States has never done. Now the U.S. will need to make sure they don't overcommit and leave their defense without any help. It's a much better place to be strategy-wise. Other teams in Group D, Australia opened with an impressive 2-0 victory over Turkey. It was impressive because Turkey is a strong squad, and Australia only had possession for 20% of the game. Scoring 2 goals when you are being severely dominated on the pitch is absolutely impressive, but it is ultimately lucky. That will not happen again. Like, you are not going to win many games that you have 20% possession. You will not even tie many games like that. Australia plays a style of football that the U.S. used to play. Strong defensive numbers to hopefully grab a tie, or if lucky, put away one of our limited counterattacks and steal a victory. That is how the U.S. used to play, and Australia is doing that well. They just did that against Turkey and pulled off a victory. It's going to be interesting to see how the U.S. handles playing against that style, a style they used to play themselves, and they don't really have experience going against a team that is playing that style when they're not. So will the familiarity with the style help the U.S., or will seeing something new confound them? I am taking an early day on Friday so I can find out. That's going to be a big game for the United States. If they win against Australia, they're locked into the knockout group already. They'd have 6 points and a good goal differential. They will be going to the knockout stage if they beat Australia. Let's go USA. Group E, Germany sits atop the charts after opening 7-goal crushing of Curaçao's will and spirit. Having 48 teams in the World Cup will get more teams into the tournament, but it will also add teams that really do not belong here. Hopefully making the World Cup this year boosts the Curaçao program, and they continue to improve and return to these tournaments. But right now, Curaçao is in a tough spot. And second place Ivory Coast won their first match over Ecuador. This was one of my most anticipated matches, and I was extremely happy with the result. The African nations are progressing in football at alarming rates, and they will send some teams home this year. Morocco proved it last World Cup. Senegal has beaten some top teams recently, and the rest of the continent is on the way up. After group play, let's circle back and go through the African nations' performance for this World Cup. And I think everybody will be surprised at how well they did, how well they are doing. It's going to be fun. Germany should win the group from here, and I do like Ivory Coast to take second. But it may come down to how badly each team beats Curaçao. and how well each team performs against Germany. I like Ivory Coast to move on. Group F. I went to the Holland game against Japan, and both of those teams seem like they could be the top squad in the group, even if the leaderboard says otherwise. But Sweden sits in first place as of today. They came out strong in game one and handed Tunisia a lopsided result. Sweden was able to pad their goal differential, so they will have a chance to make it to the knockouts, even if they finish third in this group. When you score 5 goals, I mean, that can do that for a nation in group play. I expect Holland and Japan to be able to score goals against Tunisia, and they may need to net 3 or 4 goals apiece to stay in contention for the group winner. Group play is only 3 games, so each result is extremely crucial. It will be hard to overcome the Swedes' goal differential, but I think Holland and Japan end up beating Sweden in the head-to-head and eventually cause some Group F chaos. Watch out for Holland's set pieces, by the way. They are dangerous. Group G. And we come to the group that no one seems to be able to grasp. Both games ended in a tie, and New Zealand sits atop the group but is tied with Iran. Belgium was lucky to notch a tie as they did not play well, and another North African nation came to play this year. I'm telling y'all, Africa will send nations home. I have no clue who will win this group. It's a hard one to predict, and I think Egypt ends up advancing with New Zealand or Belgium in tow. Again, Belgium did not look good, and their goal to tie that game was an own goal by the other team. It was kind of lucky, to be honest. So I really am looking to see how Belgium responds in game 2 and to see the real Belgian team, because they did not look like Belgium in game 1. Moving to Group H, otherwise known as Cape Verde's group. Cape Verde came out and played the match of their lives in game 1. Spain is a heavy favorite to advance deep in this tournament, possibly win. So tying them is an extraordinary result for a country like Cape Verde. They have a population of 500,000 people. Like, that is massive to hang with a country like Spain in a sport that Spain dominates. The Cape Verde goalie played on his head with 7 saves on 27 shots. The Spain wingers, Nico Williams and Lamine Yamal, they need to get going if Spain wants to do anything. Like, Spain needs them in top form and firing at will to have a shot at advancing to quarterfinals, semifinals, championship rounds. And to win it, like, those guys need to be top notch, like better than anybody else in the tournament. Uruguay and Saudi Arabia also tied in match 1, so this group is all notched at 1 point apiece. I do like Spain to advance. They have too much talent, and they should finish group play with 5 points at least. I mean, they have 1 point already, and I think they get a win and another tie. The other team to advance from this group is tough, but I think I'm going to have to go with my gut and go with Uruguay. They just have the history. They always have the talent. I think they will pull this off. And they are a team that plays a kind of a defensive style and goes for ties and wins on counters. And I think they will pull it off in this group. Group I. Norway and France opened their tournament with a bang. Erling Haaland had 2 goals for Norway. Mbappe had 2 goals for France. Both teams scored multiple goals, so their goal differential should be safe for the rest of group play. Senegal played a good match. I really like Senegal, but the overall talent of France won out in the end. I do think Senegal will give Norway a run for their money, and a victory there would help Senegal's chances of advancing from the group. I do assume France finishes atop this group and they move on to the knockout stage. I think the second place finisher will be the winner of the Senegal-Norway game. So whoever wins that game, I think, gets second place, advances to knockouts. And then Iraq came out to play, but they do not have the requisite talent to win these tournaments yet. And they got put in a tough group. So, unfortunately, I think Iraq's going to go home after group play. Group J. So many groups this year with 48 teams. Jeez. Make my job hard. Group J. Argentina great Messi tallied a hat trick on Argentina's way to a 3-0 shutout. I was wondering how Messi would perform after spending the last 3 years in the MLS. He hasn't been playing against the best competition in the world anymore. If even getting matches against them at all. I maybe a couple of the scrimmages when Premier League teams come to play MLS, but he's really hasn't been playing the top talent. So I thought he was going to need an adjustment period. But Messi needs nothing from us mere mortals. Argentina should breeze through this group and could put up some record-breaking numbers for group play. They seem to have gotten the best draw in the tournament for a top-tier nation. Austria did net 2 goals, so maybe they can keep pace with Argentina, and I do expect those two teams, being Austria and Argentina, to advance from this group. Group K, Colombia beat Uzbekistan in Game 1. That doesn't even sound like a soccer sentence. But Colombia beat Uzbekistan in Game 1, while Portugal tied the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Again, does not seem like a soccer sentence. I think the real story of this group is another African nation. The Congo played a great match against a good Portugal squad and was able to walk away with 1 point. And they could have won the damn thing. Portugal does start slow, and they will reconfigure their approach, their lineup before, during, and after Game 2. So I'm not surprised they started with a tie. It's kind of right on par with what Portugal usually does in these tournaments. And I have been backing all African nations in this tournament. So again, not surprised that Congo played well. And then Colombia played Uzbekistan. So I do need to watch Colombia's next game to see what is real in this group. This is another tough group to predict, but I will side with Colombia and Congo. I think Portugal has an identity issue that tactics tweaking may not be able to fix this time. Group L. England great Harry Kane opened the World Cup with 2 goals of his own as England won 4-2 over Croatia. Croatia's a good team, but they seemed to fade hard after Luka Modric left the game. They were down 3-2 at that point, but the wheels seemed to come off after the 58th minute substitution. How will that affect Croatia moving forward? Like, Luka is 40 and has been the heartbeat of the Croatian national team for years. He has been one of the most amazing players to watch as he controls the middle of the field on any field he stands on. The middle of the field is Luka Modric's. Like, stay out of that dude's way. Very impressive and sad to see him on the downside. Moving forward, I think the teams will isolate Luka, make him work harder than ever, and then pounce once he leaves the field. Let's say I got England and Ghana advancing, adding another African nation to the knockout stages. I absolutely love the World Cup and will continue covering it daily for you people. And now we move to a sport that plays games every day, baseball. First, Mike Trout is back on the IL after tweaking a hammy. It pains me to even say that sentence. Watching Trout, to me, was like being able to watch Mickey Mantle. I mean, albeit he's not a switch hitter, but a true 5-tool player, hitting for average and power, running fast, running smart, playing center field with aggression, and able to gun runners down. He is still a Hall of Famer in my eyes, but his career numbers will never reach their potential. And we were all robbed by Trout being a Los Angeles Angels member for the entirety of his career. Art Moreno needs to sell the team. I will say it anytime I talk about Trout or Ohtani. Get out of baseball, Art. You don't get it. You're not good for the game. Getting off that, the Braves just loosened their grip on the number 1 spot in the power rankings. Atlanta's pitching injuries have finally started to catch up to them. Ace Spencer Strider is down yet again with injury, and the young pitchers that had been stepping up and performing are starting to get hit a bit. Last video, I talked about the Braves needing a shortstop at the trade deadline, and I highlighted Jeremy Pena of the Astros. Now I'm thinking Atlanta has to make some calls on pitchers as well. Skubal would be a huge get, and they will check in on that market. But a dark horse candidate here could be Sandy Alcantara. He would be a much cheaper trade target. And yeah, you kind of are hoping for like a slight bounce back from Sandy Alcantara. But here's the thing where I think it fits. Like, the Braves have a couple of guys that have been stepping up and pitching really well, but they can only go 5 innings. So the Braves bullpen has been getting taxed all season, and it's going to continue. We still have 3.5 months left in the season. So they need someone that can go in there and eat innings. And while Sandy Alcantara might not be the Cy Young he once was, he's an innings eater. And he will help that Braves bullpen get extra rest, which will be huge as the season goes deeper. And it'll be even bigger in the postseason. If Atlanta can get Pena and a high-caliber starting pitcher, then they are back to being a serious title contender. And for the record, I still think they're a title contender right now. But the cracks are starting to show. So I think the upgrade at the trade deadline is becoming crucial. Taking their place at number 1 is the LA Dodgers. They have the most talent in baseball, and they will add more talent at the trade deadline. I think one of the big questions in LA is what is wrong with Mookie Betts, and will he rebound? The guy still has elite plate discipline, but pitchers are just attacking him now. They're throwing strikes because they don't fear his bat speed, and it doesn't seem to be there anymore. Like, again, he's not walking because they're just not throwing balls. If they throw a ball, Mookie Betts can tell, and he's not going to swing. But nobody fears him right now. So they're going straight at him. And for the game of baseball, I hope Mookie figures it out. He's been an amazing ball player for a long time. Just think of this. When Mookie left Boston, they stopped winning titles. And when Mookie got to LA, they started winning titles. Yet another bad trade for the Red Sox, sending an all-time great to another team so they can win while the Red Sox watch from their couches. I mean, how many times is Boston going to do that in the lifetime of that team? And then the Yankees are another legitimate title contender. Their pitching plays against any team in either league, and if healthy, they could shut down the opposition's offense for an entire series. That makes them a title contender. And then you look at Ben Rice raking, Cody Bellinger playing fantastic baseball, Caballero being the pesky at-bat they desperately needed from a good defensive infielder. Seriously, people underestimate solid utility men like they are not regular ball players. These guys usually have multiple skills and can help teams win games in a number of ways. I was pumped when New York traded for Caballero, and even more excited that he has proven me right. Oh, and the Yankees will get Aaron Judge back soon, and he is a top 10 right-handed hitter of all time, if not top 5. The Yankees will be fine come October. Seattle is starting to win some games and will finish the season leading the AL West. They're still not playing great baseball. They really need to start to gel come August, September. And if they can, and they can carry that momentum through the playoffs, then watch out. Their talent can take hold, and they can win this thing. The pitching is elite, so they can be another team that shuts down the opposition for an entire series. And they should get Cal Raleigh back at some point. The guy can hit dingers, although he's not having, a 50-homer season this year. He is still a bat to be scared of. And then in the NL Central, the Brewers can also pitch with the best of them. And they have Jackson Chourio grinding on all cylinders right now. The Brewers can win this thing as well this year. like right now. And they're going to hopefully go at the trade deadline and add some pieces. But right now, The Miz and Kyle Harrison, outside of their trip to the Las Vegas minor league parks, those guys are both unhittable. I have covered the upcoming trade market a bit over the last 2 weeks, and I want to highlight another interesting thing to watch as we approach this deadline. What will the clubs like the Mets, the Blue Jays, the Astros, the Giants, and the Red Sox do at the deadline? None of them are serious threats to even go deep into the postseason. Heck, most of these teams have little chance to even make the postseason. So will they start shedding their exorbitant salaries, or will they stay pat for another year? I think most of them will make trades. So the interesting thing will be to see who they're willing to trade. And then another interesting team to throw into this trade market is the Padres. I still like their talent, but their offense has been horrid, and they probably will not make the playoffs this year. It's crazy to me to think. Like 2 months into the season, I thought they were fine. 6 weeks into the season, I thought they were fine. Possibly challenge the Dodgers in the NL West. And now, I don't think they're making the postseason. Machado's salary is probably untradeable, and so is Fernando Tatis's. But we did say that about Giancarlo Stanton, and he is now a Yankee. So things do happen. Honestly, I wouldn't mind Fernando Tatis playing right field when Aaron Judge wants a day off, and then manning second base while they move Jazz over to cover third. Like, I think that is a big upgrade for that Yankee infield. And their biggest weakness right now, which is kind of third base bat. It's crazy to think about adding this kind of chaos to the Yankees, who are a solid World Series contender right now. But Fernando Tatis can hit, and he's a Gold Glove right fielder. And I bet his defense at second base will play. Maybe just at or slightly below league average, but it won't be the Tatis that played shortstop and is just a huge problem. And his bat will bring more to the WAR department than McMahon's defense. So I think it would be an upgrade for that Yankee offense. Thanks for joining us at JetKoa Sports. We have USA versus Australia Friday as we prepare for the United States to take a firm grasp of Group D and clinch their pass to the knockout stage. I will continue to drop shorts covering the live action, so subscribe to catch all of the World Cup action. Have a great weekend.